Well, thank you. I just kind of wanted to respond, Abby, to what you said about the book. When I first heard what it was about, I thought, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if it's for me. I feel like you handled the subject with just such straightforward tact, but also a lot of delicacy, a lot of empathy. I think as you're reading it, you really do fall in love with Max. And you're right, it's about much, much more than just this one issue. That's just sort of the thing that heightens it. But we've all been through, growing up, becoming, a kid, transitioning from a kid to an adult. And I was also thinking, one of the most interesting parts to me was thinking about Max's parents and just sort of the struggle that all parents probably go through in trying to make the right decisions for their children. And then, Emily, we're going to transition to you with the same question, because both of your books, to me, had a very strong element about parenting and what's right and what's wrong, and how you make decisions as a parent that affects the lives of these children that you're entrusted with. So I don't know if you wanted to maybe speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I think we had an author's reception last night at the hotel, so me and Emily did have a chance to chat. And we said, maybe we shouldn't, because then we won't have any material for today. But one of
we did anyway.
Yeah. So one of the things that a lot of people have said in the review is that in reviewing the book, and this is just readers, this is not kind of press or anything, but some people have really hated the mother character in the book. And I thought it was so interesting that some people hated her, because she was a very difficult character to write, because she was very ambiguous. I mean, there were things that she did that you thought, that's terrible to do to a person, but she was doing them in the name of really loving her child and trying to protect them. And Emily was saying that last night that a friend of hers at a dinner party was talking about if her child were gay, and she was a very liberal person, and she said something that we wouldn't say, which was, if I could make a choice, I would prefer that they would not be gay, because then life would be much easier for them. And my mum said something like that as well, not in a hurtful way, but she said, look, just life is so much harder for people that have to go through things like that. So yeah, I would kind of hope that you wouldn't be. But as my generation, you think, well, you should never say that to someone, because that's going to have an effect on them anyway, and they're going to hope as well that they are not different, and think that for all people who are sort of non-binary, that life is going to be really hard. So Karen does take this point of view, though, and I thought that was a really interesting and cool thing about having multiple narrators talking in first person, was that I could sit behind Karen's eyes and think about, okay, what in my background and in the politics that I grew up with makes me worry so much about what will happen to my son, and what do I see in the world that makes me worry like that, how do I act?